Hi there everybody, and welcome to the Franknet Sewing Machines YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Brother Innovis 800E. This is an embroidery only machine, and we've had a couple of requests that we do a video on something embroidery only, so we're going to take a look at this today. Actually a really straightforward machine, loads of inbuilt help available for you as well. So we're just going to look at setting up a design, combining some lettering with some patterns, and changing the colours of the thread and how that all works. This particular model, you can go up to a, this is the medium size hoop that you get with it. There is another larger one that you can get with it as well. It doesn't have the jump stitch trimming, so you do have to snip that yourself. That starts at the V3 model for the embroidery only, but it's not that much of a big deal. Well, it's like the middle of the range one that Brother do, so we thought it'd be a good place to start. So threading up is actually really like similar to an embroidery machine, a normal sewing machine. I'm going to start with, actually I was going to start with the green first of all, and then we'll look at setting up the design when it's all ready to go. So pop the thread on there. And I always have the right size spool cap as well. And again, it's numbered, and it's just the same as some of the other machines that we've actually done threading on, like the F420. It's very, very similar. Up into number 4, you're just following all these numbers, down to number 5, and the top thread guide above the needle, number 6. And then you've got the amazing needle threader. And that foot will lower automatically when we use the needle threader. And that's it, done. We've got our bobbin already sorted in there, and the kind of, all embroidery machines take a bobbin fill thread. That's a much finer kind of thread, so that works with the top embroidery thread, and it really is the kind of, it's essential for good embroidery to have a proper bobbin fill. With all of the machines actually, with the Brothers, you get a pack of that included in your box all ready to go. So let's set up a design on here. I'm going to first of all, you've got lots built into this machine, but you can import things via USB. You just pop it on a stick and bring it into there. There's so many websites that you can download designs from, Sweet Pea being a really popular one, Urban Threads is another one, so take a look at those if you don't know where to start. They've got tons of designs to choose from. I'm just going to pick something fairly straightforward because we don't want to bore you with millions of colour changes. So let's go for a single colour design there. So once you've chosen something, you just press set. And then this is our hoop here that we can have a look at. If you press this one in the very top corner, you can actually see it within the hoop as well, which is quite nice. So that's the hoop that we've actually got, and you can see that's the medium size there. So I just press OK on that. I'm just going to reduce that size a little bit so it doesn't take forever to embroider. And I'm also going to change the colour because we've actually got a green on here, so I'm going to see if I can find the same kind of shade, because the you can actually change the embroidery colour palettes if you like. So this is actually set up for the Brother embroidery thread, and the one we've got on at the moment is colour 502. So let's see if we can find that. I don't know if we can actually type in a number, but let's see if we can find a green similar. 509, 502, there we go. So that's that colour there, that lovely kind of pale green. There's lots of different things we can do with this. So we've got the move tool, which you can use in tiny increments just by kind of moving around, then also press the centre button to make it dead square in the middle of the hoop. You've got the size tool, which we just used there as well, so bringing it inwards and all the arrows going outwards, obviously making it smaller and larger. You can also do it length and width ways only too, should you need to. Rotate, obviously that's pretty self-explanatory. Increments of 10 degrees or 1 degree or 90 degrees. And then the colour change and the mirror imaging as well, but we'll leave it kind of as it is on that one. Then if you want to add something onto this design that we're building up, I'm going to add some lettering, I think. So you've got built into the machine these kind of lovely large monogram style letters, and then also a set of, so we've got 8 fonts in there, 12 if you count the Japanese characters. If we select something, I think we're going to go for the cursive one here. You've got capital letters, you've got all your kind of, numbers and other symbols, and also foreign letters as well, and your upper and lower case. You just scroll further along this kind of system to actually get your lowercase letters. On this one I'm just going to do a monogram. I'm going to do like an FN, I think, because there's quite a lot of manipulation you can do with the lettering, which we'll show you now. So once you've got the word or thing that you want to write, you just again press set. Whenever you press the set, that sets that thing that you've chosen within your hoop. So I can then move that around. You can just use your finger if you want to. The move tool though makes it mean you can be a bit more precise. So if you've kind of gone a bit off centre and you want it to just be in the middle, you just press that dot and it'll go in the middle. I'm just going to actually bring that up and across a little bit. And in the font edit here, this is where you can actually do quite a lot. You can change it so you can change the colours of each individual letter. So that means it'll prompt you to do colour changes. You can even change the font if you decide that you actually want to do something different. You can do that in there as well. You can change the size of the individual letters by just kind of, it highlights each one in turn, and then you can change the font to small, medium or large, or as you wish by stretching it, or changing the sizes individually as well. You can also split out the letters, so you can actually kind of cut them in half, so you can then move them independently should you change your mind afterwards. There's lots you can do with the lettering on here, which is really nice. Which could be quite boring though, and leave it as it is, I think, because I think that'll look quite good on that. I might just change the size of the whole thing just a little bit so it fits within that heart. I think that might look quite good. So okay on that, and then I'm just going to move it slightly up and slightly across. And then I'm going to look at it in my hoop and see what I think. I can even zoom in on that as well, or zoom out even, and yeah, that's the most zoomed in we can actually get, but you can see quite a lot of detail in there. I'm going to change that colour as well because I've got a nice blue that I was going to use for the actual lettering. So if I've got that one selected there, the actual lettering, I go to the colours there with the little spool, and that colour is 070. Let's see if we can find that on here. It's kind of a purpley blue. Not that one. Possibly one of these. 070, there it is. Okay, so now we can see that actually in that colour as well, which is nice. Once you've played around with your design as much as you want, you can then save that. If it's something you think you might use again, you can actually save it to an internal memory on the machine or to an independent USB stick that you might already have plugged in. I'm just going to save it to the machine. Then I can recall that later on whenever I like. Took a bit of time there, I'm not sure. Next thing to do is to pop your hoop on, and then we can actually check that it's going to land exactly where we want it to land on our actual project. Obviously we're just working on a nice bit of calico here, so it's pretty straightforward, but you could do this onto toweling or anything like that. So you want your fabric to be really nice and taut. You want it to be a bit like a drum on here. We're also using a tearaway interfacing on the back, a nice heavy medium weight stabilizer. That's going to make the embroidery as good as it possibly can be. So once you've got that all nice and tight, this has got the easy slide on mechanism for the hoop fitting. Some of them do have the clip-on frames, but these ones just slide in, and then you put this lever down to secure it into place, and then that's done. On the screen now, I'm ready to go to the edit end. That then tells the machine that we're ready for the next step to go to the embroidery. And there's this button here. This is probably one of the most useful buttons on the machine, and it's kind of an arrow with a dotted line going around, and this is going to kind of check the position. Before we actually stitch, we're going to know exactly where it's going to land. So if I press that and then that button again, this is then going to show me how large and whereabouts it's going to land within my hoop, which is always helpful to know. So then once you've seen that, you can either be yes, that's exactly where I want it to be, or if you think no, I've hooped this project really nicely, I actually just want to move the design further up a little bit away from the edge of whatever it is or something like that, then you can just go back and press OK, and then back, and then move, and then you can move it however you want. And then if you press select, that selects the back one, and we can move that up a little bit as well to match. So now it's going to land in a different place, slightly further up, but just double check your positions. once you're happy, you're then ready to go. So if we press OK and then embroidery, it's got our colours there. It tells us how long that those are going to actually take to embroider. We've got the tension that you can change, but just I would leave it on the standard settings to start off with. There's lots of settings built into the machine and that you can alter, and I'd just leave them as they are until you find that they're if they don't need messing around with, just leave them. So leave the automatic tension. And then we're ready to lower the foot, and our button will then go green and we're good to go. So we've got 6 minutes on this one, but we won't bore you with the whole thing. So there we go, that's the green heart finished. Just so you're aware, it might sound a bit louder on the actual camera because it is quite sensitive to picking up noise than it is in real life. So if it does sound a bit intense, you'll have to come and have a look at it in the flesh and get a feel for the noise yourself. So that's now prompted us to change the colour. Good job, because we're running out of the green. So we just pull this one away and then pop on our next colour. With some embroidery threads, just a tip as well, they have got like these little notches in to catch the thread when you're not using it, so to keep that bit safe you want to make sure that is well away from that's pointing away from where the spool cap goes, because if it gets caught on there you can have major problems. That is from experience. So slide that on and we get to use the cool needle threader again. All the way down the front. Number 6 and 7 and trim, and then it's quite a firm press down on that, so don't be afraid when pushing it down. And this only takes 1 minute to do this embroidery, so we'll just keep on running. I'll pop that down. So this is now going to be doing the FN monogram that we've designed. And there we go, all done. So then you lift up the lever, slide out your embroidery, and on this particular design actually we're quite lucky, we've just got one little jump stitch to trim. But if we have a look at the back, we can see plenty of the colours from the front as well, which is exactly how it should be. You should see as much of the actual colours you're using as possible. That bobbin thread is just pulling through, making sure that it's all nice and taut and not displaying any of the white on the outside, and you can feel that it's a nice smooth embroidery too. If obviously this top thread was running quite low, if anything like that should happen, like a bobbin thread running out, a warning would come up, or the top thread breaking or anything like that happening. This button here at the bottom right corner, when you're actually on the embroidering, is like a plus and a minus for stitches. So if something like that does happen, just press this button and you'll be able to actually go back 10 stitches, 100 stitches to where the problem was, rethread the machine, and it'll pinpoint where you want to start from again, and the embroidery will be saved. You won't have to, don't panic, it's possible to recover from a broken thread. So yeah, that's kind of the beginnings of the 800E. There's a lot you can do with an embroidery machine. If you wanted to work with just the stuff built in, that's there's plenty to get going with. However, if you did want to bring in maybe your own designs, and photographs or anything like that, then you can actually, there is software options available. There is PED Plus 2 and also PED 10, and they're the brother software versions that you can get as a bundle deal when buying any embroidery machine. And give us a call if you want to find out more about those. Check them out on the brother website, on our website. There's lots of information, and we do also run some classes on that as well. We should be starting back in September with some new classes with Trisha, doing all sorts of things, beginner classes and something more advanced. So yeah, that's kind of it for the 800E at the moment. As always, like and share our channel, and give us a thumbs up. And yeah, we hope to see you again soon. Bye for now, guys.